Hi, I'm Larry Puckett, the DCC guy. Well, here we are again with the backdrops, so we're going to try to get these at least most of the way finished, if not completed, by the end of this video. So this is going to be filmed over several days, and hopefully it'll be ready for Friday. I'm starting on Sunday. So what I'm going to show you is the trick that I have for coming around curves, and also how to set up the clamps that I showed you in last week's video. So let's go ahead and get started now. Hit that little red subscribe button, and when the little bell comes up, click on it and click all. Now I'm sure that you realize that this is tailored for backdrops on modules. And that's one of the limitations that you have, is when you get to a joint on a module, because they're designed to come apart at various times and go back together, you cannot make a permanent seam. Now on a layout that is just built into the basement or whatever area you model in, you can attach the backboards directly to the wall. And on the old Piedmont Southern, that's what I did. And then at each joint, I simply used joint compound like you would do on sheetrock to fill that seam in, smooth it out, and then paint it. And so I had a 100-foot long backdrop that went all the way around this room behind me here and was one seamless piece because I had done that work with the joint compound. Also, these are only set for 16 inches, so they're mainly here to isolate the layout itself, the scene that that's depicted here, and not to go all the way to the ceiling. Now on the old Piedmont Southern, the upper deck had a 3-foot high backdrop there, and then the lower deck, since there was 16 inches between the top of the lower deck and the bottom of the upper deck, that one was about 14 inches high, so a little bit different there. But you can do the same thing with the 3-foot high. You could, I put that in, attached it to the wall. I set it up so that it could go around corners quite nicely, and you can use the same method I'm going to show you here on the module for going around corners. I used the joint compound to create a seamless connection here, or a seamless backdrop, but you can't do that with modules that you're going to be moving around. So that's one of the things you have to live with, and we'll talk about ways to design your scenery to disguise as best you can the seam that will naturally occur. Okay, so what are we going to do today? Okay, the first thing I'm going to do here, this is the corner module, and you can see right here the curve that I've cut here. And for that, I just took the top of one of the 5-gallon buckets that you can buy up at Lowe's and put it on here, and just drew the outline of that, and then just cut this out with a large craft knife, and then just popped that free piece of foam out. So we've got to go around this curve here. And you could, I don't know. I might be able to get it to go around that curve without cracking it, but I don't want to take the chance. So I also want to show you how you can set this up so it will bend quite easily. And I'm going to show you. The secret right here is this. Good old Windex. Let me get that so you can see it, hopefully. Windex with ammonia D. And that is the important ingredient. That new stuff with vinegar, it won't work. You have to have the ammonia D. So my guess is that it is the ammonia in here that weakens the fibers in the fiber board and allows it to take that curve. And then when it dries out again, it gets hard again. So right now I'm going to take this off. I've just got 2 clamps holding it in place temporarily. And I'm going to take it over and put it on the sawhorses, and I'm going to hit that with the Windex. And I've pre-marked on the back here the area from here to here that needs to be saturated. And I'll do it on both sides. It's probably just going to go through the back mainly, but we'll do it on both sides. And then I'm just going to let it sit and soak in for half hour or so. And then we'll come back, put it in place, and bend it. And then I've got to let it sit 24 hours roughly to dry out and take the shape. And then after it's dry, we can take the clamps off and we'll be able to work with it and stabilize it permanently. And the other thing I've got set up is right here, this section of the backboard that is on one leg of the corner module. We'll go ahead and attach the clamps that I showed you. I've got the pieces to create those, so we'll be gluing those directly to the backboard here so that we can stabilize that at both ends here. Okay, so let's go ahead. I'm going to go ahead and pull this backdrop off and saturate it over here. And then once it's completely soaked in and ready to go, we'll bend it. Okay, let's go ahead and hit it. Now this side is the rough side, so it's going to saturate in here a lot faster. That other front side, I don't know, with that smooth surface, I don't think it's going to absorb very much there. And I've done this before, but I don't remember. It's been about 3 or 4 years since I've done one of these. Okay, so there we got it pretty well saturated on that side. I'm going to flip it over, and we'll do a light spray here as well. But, well, it's soaking in a bit, isn't it? Okay, so there we got it. And let's see. Okay, I'm going to let that sit for a while now and soak in. In the meantime, let's go back over here. Okay, so now let's go ahead and attach one of these clamps here and get that started. So I've got my little 1x2 block that I used, and I've got my bottle of Gorilla Glue here, and this is the clear version that won't foam on you, but it should stick just as well as the other. Now the one important thing about this is we're going to be attaching it right up against the upright here. And so inevitably, some of this Gorilla Glue is going to squeeze out when we clamp this, and it's going to end up underneath of this board here. And everything's going to get stuck together. We don't want that to happen. So to avoid that happening, there's something else you need. And that is cling wrap. And I guess the generic version here in the US, it's generically called Saran Wrap because that was, I think, the first company that came out with this stuff many years ago. And so that name is stuck. What you want to do is take this cling wrap and place it here like so, and bring it, hopefully it's long enough, it'll be okay, and just set it so that it is going to prevent any Gorilla Glue that gets out of here from seeping under and gluing the backboard permanently to this piece, because we still want this to be able to come loose periodically. So the first thing they say in the instructions here is damp it. So you've got to spray a little bit of water. Now this is just a little spritz bottle that originally had lens cleaner in for my glasses here, and it's just got water in it now. So what I'm going to do is hit this area right in here, just enough to moisten the surface. Doesn't take a lot, which is a good thing since this spray bottle has seen its better days. Now we'll take the block, and I'm going to hit the back of it. Okay, there. Then I'm going to take that, and I'm going to slap it on right here. And I've got a spring clamp ready to go here. And I'm going to put that down there. Okay, so that's going to hold that firmly in place now until the Gorilla Glue sets up. So let's go ahead and do the other one. Tell you what, I'm going to put this on this side, so I'm going to have to move our Saran Wrap to this side. Go ahead, do the spritzing. Okay, and now we can just add our Gorilla Glue again. Tell you what I'm going to do, I'm going to switch clamps here. Put this clamp here because it's got a longer reach. And then this only needs to go over to the top of it, right like that. Okay, so now we've got this one set up. So we're going to let those sit there and let the Gorilla Glue do its job. So now let's see if our other backdrop is ready to take a curve. Okay, now comes the fun part. It's saturated pretty well in here. So now we'll go ahead and start bending the hardboard around so that it takes the curve. Okay, so let's see how it does. Okay, so it's coming right around, you can see. Now, no problem. So I'm going to push it behind this piece of upright, because that's where it's going to eventually rest, and that's going to be its home. And now, there we go. It's going to sit in there very well. Now let me get the upright that I took out, and we'll put that in place. This is definitely one of those projects where having another set of hands would be very useful. Okay, there. And there. Okay, there we go. We got the final fit. It's taken the bend completely. No problem at all. There's no cracks on the interior. I just went around and checked. So it took the curve very well. And now the thing to do is to just leave it alone, let it sit, let it dry. And when it dries, it will have this curve permanently set in it. We'll be back here in just a minute once all this is done. Well, it's now been 24 hours, so let's take a look at how things worked out. So let's take a look at the clamps and how they worked out, because I've already checked them out myself, of course. So as you can see, we've got a good firm fit there. Turn that so that it's freed up, and you can see you can now move the backdrop. Matter of fact, you take all the clamps loose, you can lift it right out of there. I'm not going to do that yet. And here's the other one right here. No problems at all. Same thing. Take it and you can remove your piece of backdrop here. And then lock it back in place, and it's nice and firm. So now I have to do that. I have to do one here. I have to do one over there. A lot more clamps to install. But I'm limited because I only have so many of these spring clamps that I can use to hold these for 24 hours. So it's going to take me about a week to get all of these things set up properly. Okay, let's go over here and take a look at the curved section. So here we are on the curved section. I'll take the clamp loose here, and you can see it's staying firmly in place. It's not going to move about. But I will put a clamp here and a clamp on the other side of this as well. But at any time I can take this out and do whatever I need. And I'm going to have to do that because I still haven't painted the other side of this. I didn't paint it in advance because I knew I was going to be spraying Windex, and I didn't want the paint in the way of that, or I didn't want to ruin the paint. So do the curve first and then do the painting. That's my way of doing it, okay? So that's good tight. It's under strong compression here. So let me turn it around and we'll see what it looks like on the other side. Okay, so I've got it turned around. Let me tell you, having these things on wheels makes it so much easier to deal with. And I can just roll it around in no time, do a 180. Okay, so let's take a look. So right in here you can see this is the curved back section. So a nice, beautiful, sweeping curve back here. And I will have all kinds of scenery built up in this area because the track is up here. So we got, quite a deep area, 2+ feet of depth here to work with to do scenery. So we'll be building this up, make it a little hill up in here or something, and we'll be building the scenery and working on that quite a bit over the next few months. Now you can see right here is the seam. So it's a pretty tight seam, not bad at all. And in this location, we'll probably be able to put something right here in front of it in order to disguise it, because we'll have some scenery here, some forested scenery maybe coming around this area, and that will disguise the vast majority of any seam that we see here. And then it goes on around to the far end and ends over there. And of course we'll have another seam there with that other module to disguise. So that one probably will work with some of the buildings that we've used here on the module will be set so that it disguises that seam. So that's one of the things you can do is plan your scenery, plan your location, your buildings, taller objects that will disguise the seam for you, and you don't have to do a lot with it. But you can also put on a backdrop here that comes right up to the very edges, and a photo print, something like that, and it will help disguise this as well. Trees will help disguise it. There's a lot of things you can do to disguise a seam in a backdrop. And so we'll be working on that over the next few months, as I say, as we work on the scenery here. So that's it for this week. I have a lot of these clamps that I need to install on all of the uprights here. And I've got some planning to do, because this will give me the main section of the modules, but I still have the reverse loops at each end that need to be added. And those suckers are going to be 10 feet long. So quite a bit of scenery potential in there as well. It's going to keep me busy through the summer, through the end of next year at least, before I get all of that done. So a lot more to do here. That's it for this week. Have a great weekend and a great week, and I'll see you here next week with another video from the DCC Guy. Bye now.